Hey up everyone, I hope that you're doing alright and I hope that you had a good week and are enjoying your weekend so far. Or if you're watching this later and it's not the weekend, I hope that you had a good one. It's been raining a lot here and it's been like proper freezing out. So I've got the heating on and I'm sat in my new room with a blanket. And yeah, it's been a proper cosy like weekend, just staying inside, nice and warm, and I'll be probably having about 5 cups of tea. And because I'm in my new room recording this, it might sound a bit echoey. I'll try and do like my best to reduce the echo in post, but I've not had a chance to like set up for recording audio just yet. I've got a couple of foam panels up, but they only do so much. So if it sounds like different, that's why. And I have next to no furniture in here. Luckily it's like a carpeted room, but there's just like my desk and a toy box. So yeah, it's going to be a bit echoey for a bit, but we're in October now and this is my first spooky season on my channel. So the month of October I'll be uploading spooky themed or Halloween themed builds. Not everything is going to be like typical spooky stuff like haunted houses and all that, but there will be some Halloween themes this month. For the first build I've done this Victorian home that I built for a vampire. I've never actually played with vampires, but I do like the build items from that pack. But when I say vampire, it's not like obvious that it's for a vampire. I just decided to make one and her partner to get an idea of what type of household would live here. You'll have seen them like stood out front, but you'll see them in the house tour at the end as well. They're a newly married couple. One is a vampire and she's also a medium, and her husband is a writer who's particularly interested in vampire lore. The couple are planning to have a baby together as well, so I did a little nursery for their future baby. So the house is built on a 30 by 20 lot, I think, in Forgotten Hollow. I never remember what the lot size is. I don't have the game open, so I can't look. I really ought to write it down, but whatever size it is, it'll be in the description and the rest of like the lot details and that. So yeah, I think this is the first build that I've actually done in Forgotten Hollow. And the house uses vampires, Strangerville, paranormal stuff, and spooky day stuff, is it called? Or is it just spooky stuff? And yeah, I have to say this sort of style is not really my usual architectural or decorative style like at all. So I feel like I'm not good at knowing like what looks nice, and I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone. But it were really fun to build, to be honest. And I went for like a mix between Gothic and Victorian, and then I used some paranormal stuff as well, which is neither, but I did like a seance room with that. So that kind of has its own style really, that room. I also made this house a haunted lot type, but if you don't want to play with it as a haunted house, you can just change it. Also sorry that this video is a bit late. It was meant to go up on Friday, but I've just been so busy moving furniture about and trying to keep on top of like house stuff. And yeah, I thought I had time to like build the house, edit the footage, do a voiceover, all of that in one day, which was on Friday, but that didn't end up happening. I did most of the build. And then I edited yesterday, and I kind of planned what I wanted to talk about for the voiceover, because I tend to like make a couple notes so that I stay on track and try not to ramble too much. But yeah, I just didn't end up going to plan because I've just been like super busy with everything. I've talked about it recently, but I can't remember like what I've said exactly, so if I'm repeating myself, sorry. But basically what was my eldest kid's room has been fully emptied of their furniture, and my kids are now sharing a room. They have like a closet in their room, and I painted that, like the inside of it. I built some drawers and put them in there. They've now got like bunk beds, and I also had to get rid of a wardrobe and a set of drawers, so I donated those, and I'm turning what was my eldest bedroom into a place for me to record and potentially have a place to stream from in the future. And yeah, it's just got a bit more room rather than me being like stuffed into the corner of my bedroom. So I've built like a new desk, I've got my PC all set up, but I'm not using that just yet. Eventually I will be, but because I did this build on my laptop, I haven't. That's going to be a proper nightmare as well. Like moving all my saves, reinstalling all the packs, mods, reshade, all of that stuff, and setting up like my editing software and like copying all my settings into everything. Yeah, it's going to be a bit annoying. But I'll probably do that after I've like done this voiceover and like exporting the video and everything. But once I get set up, eventually I'll be able to start a let's play, because I do want to do like a Sims 2 let's play as well, and do like more video ideas, potentially like Sims 4 let's plays and stuff. So I would like to know your thoughts on that and any ideas that you've got, because I've been like writing stuff down and sort of coming up with ideas for the future. So yeah, all exciting stuff, but it just takes time. But to be fair, I've got like the hard stuff out of the way now, you know, sorting the other bedroom out, 'cause I had to like sort the kids' stuff out first, and I need to get like furniture for in here, because obviously like the echo, I don't want that forever. I'll probably just get like a unit to store all like my collectibles and like games and stuff like that. And I've got like a bunch of artwork that I've never really got like a good place to store it, so yeah, I'll be like sorting that out. I also want to get like a desk pad or like a mouse mat or something. I've got one, but it's just like a crappy one that I have on like my laptop tray when I play on that. But I think I want to get like one that fits a keyboard and my mouse on. I don't want like RGB and all that sort of crap. I just like basic stuff. I was looking at some yesterday, and I think that I want a desk pad for like both, but I don't want to get like a massive one, so I need to like have a look and then get one that's the right size. So yeah, I'd appreciate any suggestions, please. But I've took pictures as well as I've gone along, updating everything, so eventually I'll share that on Instagram as like a little highlight if anyone wants to see that. I am like personally interested in like desk and room and recording setups and everything, so I'll eventually make a little highlight on Instagram. Anyway, how are you all? How was your week been? I feel like I haven't asked that for ages, but I like chatting with you in the comments and having a little catch up and that. Oh, and thank you for all the kind comments on my last video where I was talking about my autism assessment and all that. I really appreciate everyone that said nice things, and I've even had a couple DMs about it and people wishing me well and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So thank you, it's really appreciated, and yeah, I just feel really grateful. But yeah, let me know what you've been up to and if you have any plans for Halloween. I know like not everybody celebrates it and they just sort of do their own thing, but what do you do for it? Do you celebrate it? Do you go out anywhere? Do you like, I don't know, do you go trick-or-treating? I don't really do anything special in terms of like going out. That's not really my thing, but I just love sitting in the house with a few scented candles on and like a blanket on the settee, watching like family-friendly Halloween films with the kids. Monster House, that's a good one that they like. I like to watch Hocus Pocus and like a couple of Scooby-Doo films. And then at night I like to watch some of my favourite YouTubers play like horror games and stuff with my partner. Markiplier is always a good one to watch, and we also like watching horror films, and we also love watching Bailey Sarian, although we've not watched her for ages, but I've been meaning to catch up on this series that she's done called Dark History, so I'll probably end up watching that as well. But are you a fan of this time of year? Are you like not bothered about it? I honestly really like it. I think it's my favourite sort of like event, you know, like out of all the things that we celebrate, Halloween and just this time of year in general is probably like my favourite. I find it's the less sort of, I can explain it, it's the one that's the less sort of all over the place. Like Christmas, I like it, but I also hate it because it's just so much changes all at once, and like the entire world seems to change for Christmas. Like all the shops are different, there's Christmas music everywhere, like family are all over the place, and you're travelling about seeing everybody, which for the past couple of years has not been the same. But yeah, it's Christmas is more of like a massive change one for me. And then Easter, there's always like stuff going on at school, there's like all these events happening, and the house just ends up full of chocolate from like family. And then Halloween, it's not really like that for us. We don't go out anywhere, we don't really do much just because it's not really like our sort of thing. But I would like to go to like, I don't know, like a market or something. Me and my partner are going to go to Manchester and like spend some time there to kind of celebrate our anniversary that we've not been able to celebrate for the past couple of years. And yeah, just spend time together up there, which will be nice. It'll be like our first time getting away as a couple and stuff. So maybe we'll see some like Halloween-y things there, because we'll be there around the time. Not really, kind of like before, but yeah, either way. But I quite like how the weather changes and stuff, and now it's like a bit colder, because I prefer wearing coats and jumpers and being all like wrapped up and comfy. I don't like the wind and rain, but I live in England, so you can't really do anything about that. And I hope that my mic isn't picking up any wind or anything. The window in this room, it needs replacing, so it's not like the best at keeping the noise out. I keep stopping every now and again as a car goes past, but luckily there's not that many cars or people that go past where I live, so hopefully nothing gets picked up by the mic. But it'll eventually get better as I fill the room up with stuff and get some like soundproofing things. And yeah, I might even, there's like a blind in here, I might replace it with curtains, but we'll see what happens. So this house then, We're just adding some finishing touches to the living room, kitchen, diner, kind of a mashup of all three. I did initially have the room closed off and split into two, but I decided to open it up more because it feeling a little bit cramped, and I want to feel like a green colour scheme in here. And I don't really know what sort of style this is because the kitchen, I use like the counters from Vampires, and the green is my favourite swatch out of the 3 swatches you get. Not really a difficult choice when there's only 3 to pick from. I hope that they do, if they do a pack refresh of Vampires, that they add more swatches to the counters. But yeah, then the living room, I used the love seats from Paranormal stuff, and then I used Spooky Day stuff like flooring, and I used that throughout the house. And then the walls, I chose that like dark brown tile, and I went with like a brownish paint, kind of like a coffee colour, isn't it? Well, with reshade off, it's a coffee colour. So yeah, a bit of like a mashup of different styles. Then for the seance room, I had a lot of trouble with this room. I actually cut out some of the footage because it was just me flicking through lots of different wallpaper and then swapping the colour scheme a lot. I wanted black because I wanted a more vampy look to this room, but then I wanted that dark blue as well. And I must have gone through every swatch of that wallpaper before I settled on one because I was determined to use it. It's one of my favourite wallpapers in the game. I especially love the white swatch, and then there's a pink swatch, and this like light cyan or teal colour as well. But yeah, in the end we got there, and the windows of this room have got shutters on them like on the outside, and they're all closed because with this room being like for the vampire to work in as a medium, I guess you'd want it nice and dark, even though I know that that's not how the gameplay works. As long as the vampires are indoors, they're protected from the sun. But it also adds to like the spooky haunted vibe, I think, with it being like a seance room for contacting the dead and like no light coming in and all of that. Then for the main bedroom, this probably is my favourite room in the house, although I did struggle with this room as well because I didn't have anything in mind in terms of like furniture and the layout and colour scheme. I just weren't really sure what I wanted to do with it, so I just kind of made it up as I went along. I was going to use the bed from Vampires as well, but it was just a bit too much for this room, just because that bed is quite like over the top, and it seems like something you want to be like the focal point of the room, and I think it would have looked better in the centre of the room. But because I wanted this bedroom to be kind of split into two by adding like a desk in the corner and using like a bit of a room divider, because one of the Sims is like a writer and everything, so yeah, I didn't really want to put the bed in the corner. I think it wouldn't have looked right. But yeah, I really like how this room turned out, to say that I didn't really have a plan for it and I kind of just made it up as I went along. But at the end you'll see the vampire sim checking herself out in the mirror. Funnily enough, I didn't really think about that when I was setting up to like show the house off, but it's fine. Maybe she's not trying to look in the mirror at herself, she's just looking at the frame because the mirror's got a really nice frame on it. Yeah, that's probably why. But yeah, I really like that dark wallpaper as well. I think it gives the room quite a cosy feel, and it definitely gives that sort of vampy sort of feel to the house. I'd love to have like a black feature wall. I very nearly did actually in my living room when I was decorating that. I've got one wall that's painted grey, but I originally wanted to paint it black, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because like the room's not really decorated with like the furniture and everything to kind of suit that. I follow this account on my personal Instagram, and they have a couple of feature walls like in different rooms and that are painted black, and then they've used like gold washi tape to add some extra details, or they've like painted like a semicircle on the wall and stuff, and yeah, it just makes it look really interesting and it looks really nice. But then their furniture and the style and everything and all these like little accessories that they have, it all just goes together really nicely. But for me, I think in my house it just won't look right. I don't have a ton of like decorative accessories and all that stuff, just because I get annoyed having to clean around them, and they just end up with a ton of dust on and it just annoys me. So yeah, I can't be bothered having loads of little bits like that, but it does look nice. I'm also thinking about getting a plant for in here, although I need to throw out the one that's downstairs. I've had this yucca that my partner got for our anniversary, got me as a present, and I've tried so hard to revive it. I've tried to get it back to life, and it had some new growth, but at this point I think it's just a lost cause. So I think I'm gonna have to accept that I'm just not a plant person. I've got a couple that I've managed to keep alive. Like I've got a couple of snake plants, but they're like famous for being quite hardy plants and like difficult to like kill basically. But then even then I had a couple of leaves die on my biggest snake plant, At one point I had like nearly 20 plants, but they've just slowly died over time and I've had to replace them with fake ones because I like the look of them. But yeah, I've tried. I even had like an app to remind me like when to water them and when not to water them, because I'll either overwater them or just forget completely. And I've even got like a couple books on how to take care of them. And I only buy ones where I know exactly what to do. I don't just pick up a random one just because it looks nice. Like I get ones that I can fit like my sort of, not my lifestyle, but where they're not as high maintenance. Like I had a fern before, but they just dry out so quickly, especially if you live, like our house, it's quite dry because I've eaten on and stuff for like half the year, and you've got to like have quite a humid environment for ferns to survive. So yeah, as nice as they look, just not suitable to like my house and stuff. So yeah, I think after I've done recording and after I've set my computer up to download the Sims and everything, I'm going to throw that plant out and yeah, I can just go in the garden waste bin. But I'll probably get a couple succulents for in here because they're quite easy to look after. Anyway, we're doing the nursery now, and I put the bassinet in the middle of the room, and I figured that if you have a sim move in and they have a baby, as it grows, like the toddler bed will fit there, and then they can just have a single bed to fit along that wall. Or you could just rearrange the furniture, whichever. But I quite like doing rooms for babies or for a couple that are like planning a family or expecting a baby or something like that. And I added a couple spooky things like that Grim Reaper gnome, and then they've got the bat teddy, because I figured that a baby raised by a vampire and living in a haunted house would love that. Also, let me know if you have any ideas for Halloween themed builds, like from films or like TV shows or something. It doesn't have to just be like a haunted house, or stuff that's like, I don't know, Adam's family house or something. It can be anything. I've got a couple on my list that aren't necessarily exclusive to this time of year, but they also match, so I'd be interested to hear your ideas as well. I've got one on my list that's come from a comment that I got a while ago, so a little bit of a spoiler, but somebody asked ages ago, I think it was when the cottage living expansion pack came out, they asked if I could build a witch's cottage with like a chicken coop and a cow shed and all that. So something like that is coming either next week or the week after, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, with all that being said, I am going to end the voiceover here and leave you with the house tour where you can see the finished build. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and this build, and if you did, please leave a like on the video, that really helps me out. I hope that you have a great week, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!